皆さんまだ生きてる？
Kimiyoshi was hanging from the collar, with his head turned up to the ceiling. He didn't even move when I walked in. Maybe he's already dead. Satoko was lying on a Oh god. Satoko was lying on a cross-shaped restraining table. She glared at me with red and swollen eyes, which must have been that way from crying. I wanted to put her on that special restraining table to pound nails into her hands, but Satoko was too small for that. I walked up to Kimiyoshi and poked his body with my toe. There was no response.
君吉のおじいちゃん、死んだ？
人殺し。人殺し。
Also, hey Moon, thanks for stopping by. The chapter might get very violent soon, so again, if for some reason you're squeamish and you don't know that about Higurashi, you might not want to hear what I'm about to read out loud. Maybe Satoko had witnessed Kimiyoshi's last moments. I took a thick knife from the wall and stabbed Kimiyoshi with it. There was no response.
君吉のおじいちゃん、生きてるなら正直に生きてるって言ってくださいよ。死体のふりして逃げ出そうなんて通用しないから。
Are you alive? Fucking stabs him in the chest. You better tell me now. Otherwise... I walked over to the pulley that was suspending Kimiyoshi.
最終通告。生きてる？生きてるなら返事してね。
I paused just for a moment, then turned the pulley. Kimiyoshi's body swayed strangely in the air, and if I recall, this background should be different in the console version. It is. Right, we get the, like this just looks like yogurt. It looks like red yogurt. Like, this looks more like bloodstains. Or these look more like bloodstains, I mean. Because it's thinner, right? While the other one literally just looks like red yogurt. Anyway. It looked much more like a corpse like that.
どうしてこんなことをするんですの、シオンさん。
ん？ああ、なるほど。
The door to the huge cave was still open. I bet Satoko had talked to the one... Sorry. I bet Satoko had talked to the one in the cell while I was gone. That's how she knows my name. Although, that's actually not my name at all.
シオンじゃなくて、私が本当のミオン。
Shin no Mion.
あんたたちがミオンだと思ってた方がシオン。まあややこしいだろうから理解しなくて結構。
よくもみんなを、リカを。
I had allowed Satoko to watch me take care of Rika's body. Speaking of before that, we haven't checked this background, in the console version. Now that just looks like paint, even though it's supposed to be blood. I don't know. Like I said, there's like a specific charm to the classic background. So I'm really glad that I've been playing the game with this art style. But anyway. Of course, I let her see Rika's neck too.
フルでリカは自業自得。
Right, that's what happened last time. God damn.
あいつは私を殺しに来たんだよ。返り討ちにしたのさ。
そんなことあるわけありませんわ。リカがそんなことするわけない。
信じないならそれでもいいよ。あんたにはどうでもいいことだし。
私をどうするつもりなんですの？
殺す。
Just like that, huh? What are you gonna do with me? Kill you. Satoko's eyes went wide. She was expecting my answer, I'm sure, but she still looked shocked. I bet she didn't expect me to state it so openly. I heard the noise of something hitting iron bars echoing in the huge cave. Shion's voice echoed there as well. I answered her clearly.
今頃罪が分かったかい？あんたはそれをサトシ君の時にしなかった。だからサトシ君は虫けらのように殺されてしまったんだ。あんたはサトシ君を救える100億の瞬間を見捨てた、見殺した。 そうさ、それがあんたの罪なのさ。
Before even finishing my sentence, I stabbed Satoko's right arm. Her blood started to flow out. This was nothing compared to what happened to Rika Furude. I twisted the knife into Satoko's arm. She bit down hard, crying.
私はどうなってもいいから、サトコを許してあげて。
Why couldn't you say that for Satoshi? It's too late now. I was the one screaming like you back then. But no matter how loudly I screamed, it never reached him. Spare him or save him. I want you to go through the same thing I did. I stabbed Satoko's arm repeatedly, but the knife kept hitting her bone. It didn't feel like I was cutting any of her flesh.
よーし、シオン。じゃあこうしよう。サトコの助け方を教えてあげよう。あんたはこれから1000回ごめんなさいって言うんだよ。言い終わったらサトコを解放する。どう？私は嘘をつかないよ。あんたがけじめをつけたってことをちゃんと理解してね。さあ、どうするの？ごめんなさい、ごめんなさい、ごめんなさい、ごめんなさい、ごめんなさい、ごめんなさい、ごめんなさい、ごめんなさい、ごめんなさい、ごめんなさい、ごめんなさい、ごめんなさい、ごめんなさい、ごめんなさい、ごめんなさい、ごめんなさい、ごめんなさい、ごめんなさい、ごめんなさい、ごめんなさい、ごめんなさい、ごめんなさい、ごめんなさい、ごめんなさい、ごめんなさい、ごめんなさい、ごめんなさい、ごめんなさい、ごめんなさい、ごめんなさい、ごめんなさい、ごめんなさい、ごめんなさい、ごめんなさい、ごめんなさい、ごめんなさい、ごめんなさい、ごめんなさい、ごめんなさい、ごめんなさい、ごめんなさい、ごめんなさい、ごめんなさい、ごめんなさい、ごめんなさい、ごめんなさい、ごめんなさい、ごめんなさい、ごめんなさい、ごめんなさい、ごめんなさい、ごめんなさい、ごめんなさい、ごめんなさい、ごめんなさい、ごめんなさい、
Shion started to apologize like a broken record. She's so stupid and honest. She's not even thinking of cheating. I bet Shion really will count to 1,000. I stabbed Satoko in the wrist. There, I felt something hard. I guess I either crushed her bone or scraped it. It must have been extremely painful for her. Satoko screamed. Shion's voice got louder as if trying to overpower that scream.
泣くのはあんたの1000倍特許だね。泣けばニーニーが来てくれる。ニーニーがかけてきて私を跳ね飛ばしてあんたを助けてくれるのかな。
The knife was still in Satoko's wrist. Sorry, the knife was still in Satoko's wrist. I slid it towards her elbow. Holy fuck, that hurts.
サトコ、私の声が聞こえる？聞いてる？聞けよこら！
I slapped her face several times and made her look at me.
あんたは自分の罪が分かってる？あんたの存在がどれほどにサトシ君を追い詰めていたか。ニーニー、そう。あんたはニーニーって泣けばよかった。泣きさえすればいつもサトシ君がかばってくれた。でもね、サトシ君の負担ってものを考えたことがある？サトシ君はね、あんたのヒーローでなければ不死身でもない。あんたと同じに。傷つけば血も流れ、痛めばうめく、全く同じ人間なの。あんたの代わりに矢面に立ってくれたサトシ君の痛みをあんたは理解していたの？してない。しようとさえしなかった。あんたはサトシ君に甘えてた。サトシ君に寄生していた。そうさ、サトシ君が傷ついて流すその血を舐めてお前は生きてきたのさ。そんな呪われた身でありながらこの後に及んでまだサトシ君の名を呼ぶのか。あんたはその罪を今から償うのさ。私の手によってね。好きなだけ泣き叫べばいい。 そしていくら泣いてもサトシ君が助けに来てくれないことを知るがいい。そう、お前が追い詰めた、お前がいなくした、お前がサトシ君を殺してしまったんだ。
After telling her all I've been wanting to, I exhaled roughly.
どうしたよ。右腕はもう感覚がない。じゃあ左腕にするか。
I stabbed her left arm repeatedly, and her blood flowed out. But Satoko's reactions weren't fun anymore. She didn't cry or scream like she did before. That put me in a bad mood, so I stabbed the back of her left hand and twisted the knife again. But Satoko still just moaned. She didn't scream
ど
anymore.
うしたの？叫ぶと私を喜ばすと思って、せめて悲鳴を絞って抵抗ってわけ。そりゃいいや。
That's so fucking mean. She's not crying anymore. This isn't fun. Hey, why aren't you crying? Did you think I found it fun? Well, I didn't. Satoko was unfazed by my mad laughter. She looked at me with gritted teeth and resignation. Oh boy.
ええ、私もそう思ってましたのよ。
は？
私がニーニーを追い詰めたからいなくなってしまった。ニーニーがいなくなったその日にもう気づいてましたのよ。私が甘えていたニーニーのすねをかじり続けてしまった。ニーニーも辛かったはずなのに、私はニーニーにすがることをやめられなかった。その点につきましては、あなたの言う通りですわ。弁解の余地なんてありませんでしたよ。
Satoko didn't sound as if she was mocking me or trying to please me. She spoke so naturally.
ちょっと意外だね。あんたが自分の罪に自覚があったとはね。
ニーニーはきっと帰ってきてくれる。いつかきっと帰ってくるんですの。でもね、帰ってきたら私もう一人前になっているところを見せるんですのよ。私もうニーニーに甘えない。背中に隠れたりしない。しっかりした一人前になったことを教えてあげるんですの。
帰ってきたらいいね。帰ってきたら。
I stabbed Satoko's arm in a mad frenzy, but she still didn't even scream. She bit down tightly and swallowed her pain instead.
ニーニーはきっと帰ってきてくれますの。絶対に帰ってきてくれますの。それまで待ってるんですのよ。そしてニーニーに今まで甘えてきて本当にごめんなさいって謝るんですの。それまで負けるものか。もう私は絶対にニーニーに甘えたりしないの。どんな苦難にもニーニーの助けを呼ばない。泣かない。叫ばない。泣いたらニーニーが来てしまう。だから私は一人で耐えてみせるんですのよ。
上等抜かすな、小娘が。
私をいじめて楽しいならいくらでもお楽しみあそばせ。でもね、それで私がニーニーに助けを求めたりするのを期待しているんでしたらお気の毒ですわね。私は泣かないんだから、絶対に疑うなら好きなだけ試してみろ。ニーニーは見ててくれる。私が本当に我慢強くなって一人前になったことを見ててくれる。私が泣き虫じゃなくなったことを見ていてくれる。それをニーニーが見届けてくれたとき、きっとニーニーは帰ってきてくれるんですのよ。さあ、いくらでも試してみろ。私は泣かない。涙も見せない。北条聡子がどれほどの強さを持つか試してみろ。
Shit. I'll show her. Take that, and that, and that.
見てますわよね。見ててくれますわよね。さとこはこんなにも我慢強くなったんですのよ。もう何が起こってもへこたれませんの。こんなことこの程度で、こんなくらいで私は泣かない。助けを呼ばない。耐えられる。耐えてみせる。ニーニーが私に代わって傷ついてくれた痛みにはこんなのはるかに及ばないんだから。
I'm skipping ahead so much by accident. Shit. Why doesn't she feel the pain? Doesn't it hurt? There's no way it doesn't. I've been stabbing her so much and the knife went in so deep. Her blood has poured to the ground, and I've been turning her flesh inside out. How can she still talk that way? Why doesn't she scream? After Satoko said that what she wanted to say, she shut her mouth. She didn't say a word after that. No matter how much I stabbed her, twisted the knife, tore at her, and ripped out her flesh, she didn't even make a sound. What in the world is this? This isn't the Satoko I know. Satoko was never as strong as this. If Satoko was this strong, she wouldn't have been a burden to Satoshi. Why wasn't she as strong before? It's too late. Everything is too late. This idiot's maturity came far too late. Her blood made my hand slippery and I dropped the knife. I was covered in blood from head to toe. Satoko was still enduring the pain. She was enduring this cruelty so she could display her strength. I couldn't defeat Satoko. I couldn't crush her strength. Satoko had achieved her goal. She had become independent, so she didn't need Satoshi anymore. She still believes Satoshi will come back one day. She looks forward to the day when she can show her brother how strong she had become. But Satoshi hasn't seen any of that. Instead, I, who never thought that Satoshi would come back, was the one who witnessed her strength. What was I thinking? I thought Satoshi was dead. No, I assumed he was. Why did I never even thought of waiting for him. I didn't believe he would come back. I didn't wait. I tried to avenge him, but I guess what I really did was forget about him. Satoko is different. She never even thought he was dead. No, maybe she did a little, but even so, she waited. She waited for a day when she could show him how much she'd grown. She waited patiently. What about me? I didn't do anything. I wanted to forget about my sadness, so I tried to find my enemy. I became an ogre, using revenge as an excuse, so that I didn't have to think like a human. I lost. I couldn't endure the pain of waiting for Satoshi, so I chose to become an ogre. In other words, I got rid of my soul, the soul that loved Satoshi. In other words, I got rid of Satoshi himself. Satoko won. While she had been gritting her teeth before, her mouth had gone slack. Her eyelids were half shut, but I could see her eyes a little. They looked like she was dreaming about something happy. Satoshi was there in her eyes. And here he is a little transparent. I wonder if they did the same here. Yeah. Satoko endured until Satoshi came for her. Satoko ran up to Satoshi. She jumped onto him. Satoshi hugged her, and they spun around. You can cry now. Satoshi told Satoko that, and she cried very hard. Satoshi rubbed her head gently. We'll be together forever, he said, and continued to rub her head so gently. So gently. Satoshi, I was waiting for you too. What meaningless words. He was already dead inside of me. I never believed in our reunion. How pitiful of me to say that. Just because I saw Satoko and Satoshi together again. As Satoshi hugged Satoko, his eyes met mine. Shion, Satoshi said. I asked you a favor. What favor. I tried to remember to take care of Satoko. What kind of favor did Satoshi ask me? Satoshi looked at me so sadly because I couldn't remember. That sad look tore my heart to shreds. The blood flowing out from me wasn't as pretty as Satoko's blood. My blood was a slimy liquid, like vomit with filthy chunks of food in it. That was what filled my body.
たたりだろうと、この村の何者かの陰謀だろうと、僕は絶対に消えない。消されない。
消えないよ、サトシ君は。
消えないよ、サトコに。あのぬいぐるみを買ってやるまではね。もうすぐお給料がもらえることになってる。その日までは絶対に消えない。
Huh? Memory of the past, but when? Of course. This is a memory of the day before last year's Watanagashi. Satoshi called me on the phone then.
あ、おばさんが帰ってきたからもう切る。
あ、うん。
ミオン。
何？
His aunt was home, so I'm sure he wanted to hang up as quickly as possible. Satoshi paused and spoke.
サトコのこと頼むからね。
Before I forget, one second. Okay, never mind. I could have sworn I read that he called her Shion, but I think I think that was from the scene where he was invisible for a bit. Anyway, my knees and elbows started to shake. My teeth chattered and my fingers were shivering. Satoshi asked me to... What have I done? I couldn't wait for Satoshi to come back, so I filled myself with evil thoughts and acted as I pleased. I didn't believe he'd ever return. I even forgot about Satoshi's last request. How can I say I love him? I just wanted to forget about my feelings of loss, so I made myself all bloody. How can I welcome him back now? I didn't believe Satoshi would come back. I didn't believe Satoshi was alive. I didn't think he was alive, so I thought he was dead. I believed in his death. I killed him in myself. Nobody else did. I did that. But Satoko believed until the very end. And she was rewarded in her final moments. Satoko wasn't here anymore. She had no more need for her bloody, painful shell. But I'm still here, trapped in my bloody, tainted flesh. I'm going to rot inside of it. Satoshi was waiting for both Satoko and me. But to be reunited with Satoshi, we had to keep our promises. Satoko's promise was to be strong. Satoko kept that promise until the bitter end, and Satoshi embraced her. My promise was to take care of Satoko for Satoshi. I never kept a promise from the beginning. Therefore, Satoshi will never embrace me. Even if I were to rub Satoko's wounds and ask her if they hurt, that wouldn't mean anything. That was when I felt something behind me. It wasn't Satoshi or the thing that scared me before. I didn't know who it was, but it was right there criticizing me for my mistakes. Then, I finally realized it. That thing is me. I had always been there, standing behind myself, watching me break that promise. Satoshi asked me to take care of Satoko, yet I didn't keep that promise. I had been watching that happen. I cried. I gave up on myself. Wait. Satoshi gave up on me, and I gave up on myself. What will happen now? I don't want to be in this darkness. I don't want to be all bloody. Please don't leave me. If I give up on myself, what will happen to my body? There will be nothing left. The only thing I have left in me is an evil ogre. I get it. I've known it for a long time now. I am nothing but an ogre. An ogre doesn't feel sad. An ogre's heart can never be in pain. An ogre doesn't cry. Shion was still apologizing. She believed that was the only way for her to save Satoko. Her voice was growing hoarse and weak.
シオン、もう数えなくていいよ。ご苦労さん。
I guess she realized what happened to Satoko. Shion cried in her cell.
鬼ってのも悪くないね。人が泣いたり叫んだりするのを見るのがこんなにも楽しいものだなんて知らなかったよ。私も人の世ってやつを十分に楽しませてもらったからね。そのうち自らの命を絶って鬼の国へ帰らせてもらうよ。でも安心しな。その前にちゃんとあんたは殺していく。あんたを殺すために今があるんだもの。私は人を嘆かせて泣き声をすするのが私の鬼の優越だもんね。そうだ、あんたはケイちゃんが好きだったね。よし、あんたの前でケイちゃんを引き裂いてあげるよ。これは極めつきだね。その後にあんたを殺し、私も殺そう。そうさ、鬼ヶ淵村は鬼の村。かつて鬼ヶ淵より湧き出した鬼が村を襲った伝承のある村。私もまた伝承の鬼たちのように猛威を振るい、そしてお社様の裁きを待とう。それでこそひなみ沢村にふさわしい災禍と言えるだろうね。
ケイちゃんですか？私です。シオンです。電話なかなか出なかったんで、お留守かと思って切ろうとしてたんですよ。
ごめん。ちょっとお風呂に入っててさ。
I think at this point, I don't remember, but I think Keiichi was alone in his home, and I think he was taking a bath and he fell asleep. I believe that's what happened.
それでも、ご家族の方が電話を取りませんか？ひょっとして、ケイちゃんの家、今ご両親はお留守なんですか？
いや別に留守ってわけじゃ。そんなことより。
Right. He didn't want anyone to know that he was home alone because he was panicking that they were gonna fucking like find him and kill him. So when Shion asks him that on the phone, he immediately is like, anyway.
聞いたか？リカちゃんとサトコの件。
いえ、結局あの後どうなったんですか？見つかったんですか？
見つからなかった。
ケイちゃん、どうか気を落とさないで。
リカちゃんとサトコはさらわれたんだよな。
はい、それは間違いないでしょうね。
リカちゃんとサトコは、いや、ごめん。村長さんはさらわれてどうなったと思う？まだ生きてるんだろうか？
Keiichi sounded confused. He wanted to believe Satoko and Rika were still alive, which is why he was asking. Keiichi was just like Satoko. Unless the culprit was after money, the abductee would usually get killed right away. I'd never assumed they'd still be alive, but Keiichi was trying to hold on to a little hope. I could feel his strength. It was much greater than mine. I'm an ogre, so I didn't come up with an excuse.
殺されちゃったんだと思います。
おいおい、そんなにあっさり。
人間をさらってその状態を維持するのってとても大変なことだと思います。人質にするんでもない限り、用が済んだら殺しちゃうのが一番合理的じゃないかと。
殺しちゃうって、そんなにあっさり。人の命を何だと思ってやがるんだ。
恐ろしいことだとは思いますが、多分そうではないかと。
村長が殺されたということは、リカちゃんやサトコも同じように殺されたかもしれないということなのか？いや、そんなはずは。どっかのじじいとはわけが違うぞ。リカちゃんだぞ。サトコだぞ。そんなにあっさりと殺すはずは。
Keiichi was still refusing to believe what I said. He fought so hard because he didn't want to kill his friends within him. I wasn't like that. I killed Satoshi within me so easily. I blame Shion for not protecting Satoshi, but I killed him so easily.
リカちゃんとサトコちゃんも同じだと思った方がいいでしょうね。
Keiichi roared and cried. It was like their deaths were physically agonizing to him.
どうしてだよ、どうして人をさらったり殺したりするんだよ。たたりだかなんだか知らないが、人の命ってのはそんなに安いのかよ。あっさり消したり殺したり。
ええ。全くです。悪魔ですよね。
I laughed at myself. I was sure Keiichi didn't notice.
なあ、シオン、教えてくれ。どうしてこのひなみ沢では綿流しの夜に人が死ななければならないことになってしまったんだ。
それは私が知りたいです。
もうダム計画との戦いは終わったんだぞ。なのにどうしてまだたたり足りないんだ。どうしてだよ。理由があるなら言ってみろよ。
ケイちゃんの気持ち、私もよくわかります。ダム闘争はとっくの昔に終わったんです。なのに毎年、お社様のたたりという名の殺人と失踪が繰り返されている。なぜ？どうしてなんですか？全然関係ない人もいた。たたられるのに不相応な人だっていたのに、どうして？どうして？
それを俺が聞いてるんだ。
それを私だって知りたいんですよ。
Oh, Keiichi. He's fucking going through it. Like, that's for sure. Of course, the curse of Oyashiro-sama never existed. It was just a bizarre environment that allowed people to kill in the name of Oyashiro-sama. The environment and nothing more. Nothing would have happened unless there were ogres who danced within
いい
it.
ですか？お社様のたたりなんて非現実的なものは初めから存在しません。ケイちゃんの言う通り、村の何者かがお社様のたたりというもっともらしい大義名分を利用して綿流しのたびに殺しと失踪を繰り返しているんです。奴らは狡猾でした。たたりを都合よく利用して村の旧敵を毎年2人ずつ消し去るシステムを構築していったんです。そしてこのシステムで今年は高野さんたちが殺された。
じゃあ2人で十分じゃねえかよ。どうして村長やリカちゃんやサトコまで殺されなくちゃならないんだよ。それに俺は過去のことは今さらどうでもいいんだ。リカちゃんとサトコがなぜ殺されなくちゃならなかったのか、そのどうしてなんだ。サトコには打ち明けですらないんだぞ。どうしてサトコまで、どうしてなんだ。
Satoshi was speaking through Keiichi's mouth. How could I respond? I didn't know what to say. I could only feel myself being stabbed by the sharpness of those
ケイ
words.
ちゃん、もういじめないでください。私だって何が何だかわからないんです。西宮殿に忍び込んだあの晩から全てが変わってしまった。
So I should have realized this during chapter 2. But I guess I was so enthralled by the story that I didn't. But we didn't know why Satoko or Rika had gone missing. But I should have guessed that, you know, someone who wanted them dead would have, like, kidnapped them. But of course, at that moment, we weren't suspecting Mion or Shion, right? The other, like, big hint is this right here. Like, this specific phrase. Where she's like, Keiichi, like, stop being mean, right? He's yelling because his friends are dead, and he has to cope with this shit now. But his grief are like daggers to her heart, right? Because she's the one that did it. So all these words that he said, like that he just said a bit ago, it's like, why wasn't that enough? It's like she said, it's like Satoshi is speaking through Keiichi's mouth.
あの晩、高野さんたちが死んだと聞き、耳を疑いました。そして、すぐに気づいたんです。今度は、自分が狙われる立場になったんだって。忍び込んだのは、私たち4人。私とケイちゃんだけが都合よく許してもらえるわけがない。そう思ったとき、それがどれだけ心細くて、恐ろしいことだったか。ケイちゃんにはわかりますよね。だから私、君吉のおじいちゃんに打ち明けたんです。君吉のおじいちゃん、怒らなかった。そして、にっこり笑って、しおんちゃんがちゃんと反省してるなら、鬼隠しになんかなるものかって、本当に、笑いながら、任せなさいって。
I remembered Uncle Kimiyoshi speaking ill of Satoshi. I killed him, but everyone in Hinamizawa did that. I wasn't the only one at fault.
いつ村長に打ち明けたんだよ。ごめんな、シオン。悲しい気持ちのところに追い打ちをかけるようで。シオンは打ち明けたんだよな。君吉のおじいちゃん、つまり村長に。
はい。
いつ打ち明けたんだよ。
Keiichi's tone was becoming sharper. The edge was cruel, but it was a sharp conviction. It wasn't a dull edge that caused excessive pain. It had a clean, pleasant sharpness to it.
村長さんは重い痔を患ってて、病院にかかっていたという話は知ってるか？
ケイちゃん、それが、何か。
答えてくれ。知らないなら知らないと答えればいい。
痔だったのは、知ってます。座るときとか辛そうでしたから。
病院に通ってたんだ。どこの病院かは知ってるよな。
ごめんなさい。それはちょっと知りませんけど。でも、ケイちゃん、それが一体、何の？
単刀直入に聞きたいんだ。シオンはいつ村長に打ち明けたんだ？どこで？いつ？大雑把でいいから教えてほしいんだ。
ケイちゃん、なんでそんなことを。
Very good, Mayabata Keiichi. You know who I am, don't you?
ありえないんだよ。村長が失踪した日、朝から消えるまで、シオンには接触できる機会はありえないんだ。
そんな。
村長は朝一で誰にも内緒の大学病院へ一人で診察に出かけた。シオンは今この病院を知らないと言った。だから帰ってくるまで村長と接触することはできないはずだ。そうだろう。帰りの電車が事故で遅れたので、自宅に帰ってきたのは会合の始まる直前だった。つまり会合が始まるまでの時間にも打ち明ける時間的余裕はないんだ。シオンも一緒に会合に出たのか？そして会合の席上で打ち明けたのか？ここで打ち明けなきゃもう時間がないもんな。会合が終わった後、村長は帰宅途中で失踪するんだから。
実は会合にで。
あの日シオンが行くと言ったバイトすら君は欠勤してるんだ。もっと端的に言おう。君は俺と一緒に行った図書館以降 誰にも目撃されていない。
ケイちゃん。
その時シオンは綿流しの翌日に失踪したんだ。
Bingo, Keiichi. I'm
大
impressed.
石さんは君がすでに失踪していると言っているんだ。でもシオンはこうして毎晩俺に電話をかけてきてくれただろう。頼むシオン、俺が言ったことが間違ってるならそうだと言ってくれ。シオン、頼むから。
Corner me even further. Corner me so the ogre inside can't come up with excuses, so that it can't escape.
シオン、お前は村長に会ってなんかないんだ。もし会ったとしたなら。
The only time I could have possibly seen him on that day was...
村長が会合を終えた後、すなわち失踪する直前、もしくは失踪してからしかありえないんだ。
Click. I screeched and screeched with laughter, then slammed down the phone. Very good, Kei-chan. That's right. It's me. I'm the one. Hurry and corner me. Hurry. Let me be free. Was he gonna tell the police? Or was he gonna come here by himself? I wondered which it would be. If the police came, I'd struggle as much as I was able. I'd see how good Oishi would be at catching an ogre. If Kei-chan came here alone, that wouldn't be smart of him. He couldn't complain about being eaten by an ogre then. I'm going to kill him. I'm going to kill him gruesomely while Shion watches. Therefore, Keiichi, you shouldn't hold back. I only ever thought you were just a funny guy. I never thought I could expect so much from you. Imagine the chapter's fucking over already. I got scared for a moment. I was like, oh, what if it is? What if the timestamps I was given were wrong? Interesting, okay. It took them a long time to come for me. I had to wait until the following morning. I opened the gate without checking who was ringing the doorbell. I didn't even care who it was. If it was the police, that'd be fine with me. If it was Keiichi, could he defeat me? Keiichi and Rena were there.
こんな時間に珍しいね。二人とも学校は？
学校は休んだよ。
ケイちゃんはともかく、レナも？二人とも不良なんだからな。
I laughed.
立ち話もなんでしょ？入りなよ。
I didn't think Rena would come. I thought it would be either the police or Keiichi alone. I'll try tricking Keiichi into coming with me to the underground storehouse. Rena, why don't you try to figure out what I'm attempting to do and stop me? You too, Keiichi. If you figured out I was Shion, why don't you try to figure out the rest? I will act like an ogre. I will struggle until the very last moment, so don't hold back. Please don't hesitate to kill a filthy ogre like me.
ミオン、まず謝ることがある。
ケイちゃんが？何を？
綿流しの晩、俺は神社の祭具殿に入ったんだ。
I didn't expect this to start with an apology. Okay, so he admitted his sin of entering the ritual storehouse. I guess that was manly of him. I don't even care if the storehouse is forbidden anymore, whatever. The rule came from those who believed it was even a sacred place at all.
ミオン、おととい、リカちゃんとサトコを呼んだろ。
覚えはないけど、そう思うに足る根拠があるなら聞かせてもらえる？
夕方過ぎのお夕食前の時間、リカちゃんが来たはずだよ。お醤油の大瓶を持ってお裾分けしてもらいに。
Elena spoke with confidence. She wasn't even trying to gauge my reaction. She was simply telling me the truth. The cleverness was very pleasant to see.
どうしてそう思う？
そんなに難しい話じゃない。
Also, I just realized Keiichi's one of the only characters with a nose. Not to kill the mood. But like Rena doesn't have one, Shion, Mion, you know, Satoko, Rika, they don't have one. But he does. They do in the console art style, right? They have the little line to denote a nose, but Keiichi here is the only one that actually has one. Weird. Anyway.
みーちゃんも見たでしょ？リカちゃんの部屋。冷ややっこがあるのにお醤油がなかった。そして流しの下にあるはずの醤油の大瓶も瓶ごとなかった。
I love how that's a huge hint. Like, in Japan, like that's how you know someone was kidnapped. They had tofu in their house, but they didn't have any soy sauce. So therefore, they must have gone out to get some, right? And that's when they disappeared. Anyway.
何それ？それが私のとこへ来る理由になるわけ？
Rena sure is sharp. I tried to beat around the bush, but she was confident in her conclusions. She was cornering me. She was doing such a great job, too, it really put me at ease. Okay, Ogre. Rena knows what she's talking about. What kind of excuse are you gonna come up with now?
長くなるから説明は省くけど、冷蔵庫の中身がみーちゃんの呼び出した話の内容まで如実に物語っちゃってるの。
There it is. The game is over. Rena, I was right about you. I don't like you. You really are just too sharp. Shion is so obtuse that she never even recognized this side of you.
これはとんだ名探偵が身近にいたもんだよ。まさか冷蔵庫の中身だけで電話の内容まで見破るとは。参ったな。参った参った。
I laughed like crazy. I laughed because I was having so much fun. I sensed the poison inside of my stomach dissipating, and I felt free and refreshed.
ミオン、
Oh, he got his eyeliner back.
警察はもうとっくにお前を疑ってるんだ。この家も大石さんの部下が踏み込もうと今も様子を伺ってる。
Keiichi was threatening me. He was telling me I couldn't run or resist, so I should just surrender and accept my fate. You aren't doing that intensively enough, Keiichi. Shouldn't you grab my collar and knock me to the ground? Today's the day I'm prepared to die. After that, they went easy. Because they just wanted to know the reason why Mion committed such crimes. You all are being too lenient about this. I'm an ogre. I'm a murderer. Are you saying that if you can understand reasoning, murder is okay? An ogre is an ogre. A murderer is a murderer. Whether their motive is to have fun or to live or to take revenge, that makes no difference. Why do you even want to know that? Why don't you just tackle me and take me to the police? Look, there. The ogre is trying to deceive you.
初めてご挨拶申し上げます。園崎本家当主跡継ぎミオンでございます。本日はようこそ園崎本家においでくださいました。当主お涼に代わりまして皆様にご挨拶申し上げます。皆様におかれましては いろいろお尋ねになりたいことがおありの様子。私にお話しできることでしたら、包み隠さずお話ししたいと存じます。
Right. This is when she goes into the background of the village and how they used to can people or can human meat for soldiers in the front lines during like the world wars. Anyway, I told them about the strange events that led to Onigafuchi village becoming Hinamizawa, which Takano told me about before. About half of it was the truth, but the other half was completely made up. Oh my god. I just made it sound like it was only natural that their best friend committed such a gruesome crime. Keiichi and Rena were both overwhelmed by the history of Onigafuchi village, which was swallowed by this gloomy fate. So the canned people was made up. Oh well, I guess I made it sound interesting enough. I'm sure they enjoyed hearing me tell the story, but you know, I'm the one who committed the incidents that happened in the present time. What was the point in listening to these old folktales? Are you thinking it will make your best friend's crimes easier to swallow? You're just trying to satisfy yourselves. I'm an ogre. I'm a murderer. I have sinned. These old folktales have nothing to do with the crimes I've committed. The way those two listened to me so intently almost made it fun. I told them that people used to make canned human meat and conducted gruesome research during the war. Oh, never mind, those were true. So which parts were fake? I don't remember this specific conversation, or at least the details that came before this. Hold on. Unless she meant like the part about, what the fuck was it? Like how, like the ogres intermingled with the humans and so on and so forth. Unless she means like about like that section. Hey, you two. Haven't you realized it yet? Haven't you realized what I'm talking about has nothing to do with what we're dealing with right now? Yeah, I kind of was thinking this exact same thing during chapter 2. I was like, okay, cool, she's telling us all this. It's very interesting. What the fuck does this have to do with her murdering people? You both look so serious. You two are such fools.
ひなみざわ村を再び鬼ヶ淵村のように崇められるに足る神聖な存在に。それが我ら鬼ヶ淵村の末裔の悲願であり、園崎本家の鬼を継ぐ者の宿命なのです。
鬼を継ぐ者？
我が園崎本家は代々当主の名に鬼の一字を加える習慣があるのです。私の名前を手のひらにでも書いていただければ一目瞭然かと。
Keiichi tried to write Mion on his palm.
本当だ。鬼という文字が含まれてる。
名前だけではありませんよ。この体にも鬼が刻まれているのです。
I stood up and made to show my bare back. Of course, I don't actually have a tattoo there.
いいよみーちゃん。見せる必要なんて全然。
ありがとう。
I laughed a little. They must really believe that I'm their best friend, Mion. My goodness. The ogre has already won. They were doing so well at the beginning, too. I actually sat back down after I finished telling my made-up tearjerker stories. It's your loss if you all shed any tears now. I looked at Keiichi. He wasn't crying, but he was overcome by emotion. I looked at Rena. Surprisingly, she still maintained an aggressive look, showing me her will to fight. She's so angry. Look at her.
でもみーちゃんはリカちゃんとサトコちゃんを殺したんだよね。
You're good, Rena. You know what I just told you isn't an excuse for murder. You usually act like such a goofball, but that's not how you really are. You sure are something. You're far sharper than Shion.
他の人のことは殺してもいいとも言わないよ。でも、とにかくみーちゃんは、リカちゃんとさとこちゃんを殺した。
弁解はしないよ。私には鬼が宿ってる。名前にも体にも心にも。でも手を下したのは鬼じゃない。園崎ミオン。私本人。ミオンが望んだからリカちゃんとサトコが死んだ。それは変わらない。レナの言う通りだよ。
Come on, Rena. Try to figure out who I really am. You still believe Shion, my victim, is the real culprit. Poor Shion. I'm making Rena believe that you're responsible. That was it sorry. That was it for goddamn, dude. That was it for Rena, though. Pronouncing pronouncing the same sound like twice, like back to back, is so fucking hard. If I would have said like that was it for Rena, that's different, but that was it for Rena. It's a little hard to pronounce it like that. Anyway, she couldn't figure out I was Mion.
自首しよう。
Rena spoke to Mion.
私たちも一緒に行くよ。
Hold on. So, now I'm a little confused. So in this case, because I remember specifically that Keiichi finds out that the Shion he's talking to on the phone is actually Mion. Does Rena think that she is talking to Shion instead of Mion? God damn, now that's confusing me.
親友を一人きりになんか絶対にしない。
泣くことレナには勝てないわ。
Too bad, Rena. I've won.
自分で自分の罪どのくらいになるかよくわかってる。たとえ自首が認められても多分もうここに帰ってくることもないと思う。だから最後にわがままを聞いてほしいな。
何かな。
30分でいいからケイちゃんと二人きりにしてほしい。
What do you mean with me? Keiichi looks startled to suddenly hear his name. You're so insensitive, Keiichi. That's what made my sister cry.
ケイイチ君。
So, when the fuck did the store scene happen? Between Mion and Shion, where we walked in, where Keiichi walked in with Shion by his side, her arm around his, or her arms around his. They walk into the store, he's about to buy a doll, and then on the other side of the counter is Mion. When the fuck does that happen?
どうかな。ケイイチ君が嫌なら無理にとは言えない。
そうだね。嫌ならそれでもいいよ。私は鬼だもの。ケイちゃんはよそから引っ越してきた正真正銘の人間。相入れることなんてお社様が実在して仲介してくれない限り絶対にない。
Keiichi hesitated a little. Come on, Keiichi, condemn me. Condemn me and tell me you'd never go.
ああ、いいぜ。
ありがとう。
Fool.
私からもありがとうを言うよ。ケイイチ君。
Rena stood up. As promised, she made to leave.
あ、いいよレナ。ここで待っててくれれば。ケイちゃんとは庭をぐるりと回りたいだけだから 退屈だったら私の部屋へ行けばいい。漫画とか好きに読んでていいよ。あ、なんだったらお気に入りの単行本丸ごと持ってってもいい。
嫌だよ。みーちゃんの本はみーちゃんのものだもの。勝手にレナの家に持って帰れない。
あんたはこんな時に限っていい子なんだから。
I took Rena's head and rubbed it like Satoshi used to do me.
じゃあ
Or did me.
行こう、ケイちゃん。
The game was over. Too bad, Rena. At least this was more fun if At least this was more fun than if Keiichi came alone. If he did, he could have asked me to run away with him after hearing my stories. Rena's eyes were like those of a judge. In those eyes, I sensed both affection and observance. I said 30 minutes, so she would probably only wait 30 minutes. If I took even a second longer, she'd call Oishi. I'm a little disappointed, but Rena still thinks I'm Mion. She didn't manage to see through me. I thought someone like her would be able to see the ogre in me. I guess I was wrong. Too bad. Keiichi followed me after putting his shoes on.
腕組んでもいいかな。
Such a humble request.
別に構わないぞ。
I took Keiichi's arm. It was warm. It was as warm as Satoshi's. I felt a little bewildered.
私に腕を組まれたらなんだか緊張しちゃわない？例えば急に関節技を決められちゃうんじゃないかななんて思ったりとか。
姉妹揃って同じことを言うんだな。思わないよ。全然。
He was remembering the time when I'd held his arm in town.
シオンもケイちゃんのことが好きだったみたい。
So that scene did happen. Fucking when? When did it happen? At what point? We didn't see it through this perspective in this chapter. Because Shion is like... She meets with Keiichi after work. She puts her arms around his. They walk around town. They reach a store and she's like, hey, would you ever buy me something? And he's like, sure, what do you want? And then she's like, I want a doll like this one. And then she points to one at the store. And he's like, yeah, I'd buy that for you. And she's like, okay, cool, let's go get it. And then when they walk in to go get it, Mion is on the other side of the counter. And she's like, huh? What are you doing with Shion? Because because Keiichi thought this whole time that Mion was Shion. As in, he kept thinking that Mion was just letting her hair down instead of having it in a ponytail and pretending to be, like, you know, more feminine. And that Shion was this made-up character that she made, and not really her twin sister.
そうなんだ。
I told him how my sister felt. The one in the cage right now. Shion was with Satoshi for a long time, but what they had was friendship. They never had anything more than that. That was why she fell in love with Keiichi. If I were in her position, I would have also fallen in love with him. If Shion was able to fall in love with him, then I could fall in love with him too. Keiichi smiled gently. I almost saw Satoshi in that smile. The Keiichi I knew was worthless and superficial. I never realized he could smile like Satoshi.
ミオンとシオンは仲は良かったんだろ？
さあ、どうかな。ケイちゃんは自分の右手と左手は仲がいいと思う？
え？右手と左手？それは仲がいいとか悪いとか、そういう言い方で例えるものじゃないな。
そういう関係だから。仲がいいとか悪いとか、そういう尺度では測れない関係。
We'd been together since we were born. We'd been living in this town in this world as a pair. But I was Mion, and she was Shion. Mion was treated specially, and I insisted on being her. Of course, that was unpleasant for Shion. Deciding to be fair, we switched places all the time. We were probably different from other identical twins. We didn't only like the same things or do things the same way. We even managed to share our knowledge and experiences. When we talked about our experiences, we could share them. As Mion and Shion, we shared everything. That was why each of us was Mion and Shion at the same time. No, maybe Shion was the only one who thought that way. I was a little different than that. I was simply letting Shion be Mion once in a while. I was Mion, the successor to the Sonozaki family. I was supposed to be treated specially. I always thought that was my privilege. Just like how everyone tried to distinguish between Mion and Shion, I also try to distinguish between us.
例えば利き腕というものがあるように、右手と左手には間違いなく優劣の違いがある。もしも鍋つかみが片方しかなかったら、迷うことなく利き腕にするでしょ。そういう差はあったんじゃないかと思う。だからといって左手がなくなったっていいなんて思う人は誰もいないはず。そんなよくわからない関係だね。
それは近くにいすぎるから見えなくなっているだけで、きっととても仲のいいことなんだと思う。俺は一人っ子だから、祭りの前日ミオンとシオンが二人してじゃれ合っているのをすごく羨ましいと思った。
ないものねだりじゃないの。双子なんて昔は人をからかったりしてそこそこに面白かったけど、こうして互いがはっきりと異なる個性を持った今ではかえって邪魔なだけ。
As an older sister, I felt I was mean for thinking that way. So as punishment, I became Shion. Who am I? I never had a solid identity in the first place. I was Mion. Then I was Shion. I should have just accepted that. But something has changed. I don't even know if I'm Mion or Shion anymore. Had I really been stupid enough to hope that Rena would figure that out for me?
シオンはまだ生きてる。
本当か？
Keiichi looked into my eyes. I nodded quietly.
誰よりもむごたらしい死に方をさせてやろうとずっと考えて閉じ込めておいたけど、今日までその方法はとうとう思いつかなかった。
This was a lie. I've already come up with ideas, and I've already begun to execute them. I dumped the hag into the well in front of Shion. I dumped Kimiyoshi and Rika in there. I even killed Satoko too. And right now I'm plotting to kill Keiji, who Shion fell in love with. I'm an ogre. Any such gruesome act is simply pleasure to me. That's when I felt a warm hand rubbing my head. It wasn't Satoshi's hand, but it was Keiichi's. Keiichi and Satoshi are totally different. Why did Shion fall in love with him? His rough hand didn't make me happy. That he understood my feelings was just my imagination. I wasn't happy and it didn't feel good. It
来
didn't.
て。私の罪のすべてを見てほしいから。でもそれはケイちゃんにとってこの上なく辛い光景かもしれない。
I'm going to commit my final crime. I'm going to let you see it. I'm going to let Shion see it. When I do, are you still going to think I'm your best friend? Poor Shion. Keiichi is just going to die thinking it's you who's killing him.
引き返すなら今だよ。ケイちゃんの中の園崎ミオンがどんな人かは知らないけれど、中に入ればそのミオンはきっと
変わらない。何度だって言う。園崎ミオンは俺の最高の親友だ。
You are such a fool. You don't sound cool at all. I don't understand human feelings because I'm an ogre now. But I think I can understand why she loves you. I opened the iron door to the underground storehouse and beckoned Keiichi inside. Come on, Keiichi. This is obviously a trap, don't you see? This basement is transparently suspicious. Don't you think you should run to the police? But Keiichi was reckless. He swallowed and stepped inside. You really are a fool. We went down the stairs to the basement and I led him into the torture room. Everyone is shocked their first time visiting this room. I used to be that way. Of course, Keiichi looked surprised too. But he was trying not to show it. Obviously, he wanted to express his shock at seeing this horrifying room. But he also knew that if he voiced that shock, that he would be rejecting his best friend who was trying to confess her sins to him. So he did everything he could to stifle his surprise.
大昔の当主の書き物によるとね、血のしぶきってのは犠牲者に負担をかけない割にはインパクトがあるんだってさ。綿流しは見せしめの章だったから、私のご先祖様たちは様々な章を考案してたんだよ。ほら、そこが鑑賞席なんだよ。綿流しは見せしめの章だから、客がいなきゃ意味がない。
Keiichi smiled quietly as he listened to me. No matter what cruelty came out of my mouth, he would embrace me. Was this really the superficial Keiichi Maebara that I knew?
みんなここで、私が殺した。見てくれている観客はいなかったけど、私は綿流しを上手にやってみせた。いや、観客は一人だけいたかな。
え？観客？
私という鬼がミオンの執り行う綿流しをずっと見てたから。
Started to laugh. How many hints do you need, Keiichi? When are you going to figure out I'm not really your best friend? Come on, hurry up. You're running out of time. The game is almost over. This was a game. This was a game of murder. I had killed people using my revenge for Satoshi as an excuse. The ogre was trying to capture Keiichi and kill him before Mion's eyes. But Keiichi had a chance. If he figured out I wasn't his best friend, then he'd win. If not, he was out. When did I come up with that rule? I guess it was sometime today. Or did I come up with it just a minute ago? Since the two of them aren't too bright, I decided to be easy on them, I guess. You are Mion's best friends, right? Don't you believe in her? Have you already made Mion into a murderer within yourselves? Why don't you try to protect the Mion within you? Why don't you try to believe your friend can't be a murderer? If you could believe until the very end like Satoshi, you would have realized I wasn't Mion, your best friend, but just someone who looks like her. But if you can't, if you still believe that I'm Mion, then you're just like me. I killed the Satoshi within me so easily, and you will do the same. You don't deserve to live.
向こうが牢屋。
シオンはそこにいるのか？
You're not gonna make it. Once we reach Shion's cell, your time is up. The ogre will win.
シオン！シオンか！
ケイちゃんなの
Keiichi ran to the cell.
大丈夫か、シオン！怪我はしていないのか？
Shion screamed. I was standing right behind Keiichi. It was time. My preparations to kill the boy she loved were complete. For her, this was going to be the worst
落ち
possible
着け、シオ
torture.
ン！もう全部終わったんだ。全部。
Keiichi tried to quell Shion's distress by talking to her in a calm voice. It was such a funny sight. Keiichi was the only one who had no idea what was going on.
シオン、ご機嫌はいかがだった？
私が憎いなら早く私を殺してよ。憎いのは私なんでしょ。早く殺して
落ち着けってシオン！もう終わったんだよ。大丈夫なんだ。だから落ち着け。
安心しなよ。あんたは殺さない。まだまだ殺さないんだから。
It's game over. I gave you enough chances. You cornered me quite well. Once. But that was it. You couldn't figure out that I'm not your best friend, Mion. You couldn't believe that Mion isn't a murderer.
殺 死にたければこの男を殺した後にゆっくりとひき肉にしてやるよ。
Giniku.
古式にのっとり獅子の先端から少しずつガリゴリと削ってミンチにしてやる。あの肉引き器はあんたのために取っておいてあるんだからね。それともそれでケイちゃんをミンチにしてみせた方があんたには面白いかな。
おい、いい加減にしろ。今さら怖がらせてどうするんだよ。
ケイちゃん逃げて。
Here you are, ogre. Go ahead and take my soul. I've been living my life to avenge Satoshi, but that wasn't what he wanted from me. That was just for my own satisfaction. I couldn't even face Satoshi, so I'll bring this to an end the way I want. The world became a total mess. Satoshi hates me, and I hate myself too. I'm going to complete my revenge. I don't want anyone to sympathize with me. I won't pretend to be some tragic heroine either. I'm going to become a murderer that nobody could sympathize with, so please, grant a suitable final moment for me. A bluish-white flash filled the huge cave. Keiichi fell like a doll. Shion reached out to him from the other side of the bars. She screamed at me not to kill Keiichi. Go ahead, cry and blame me. Don't even think of offering your forgiveness. I'm the most rotten existence in this world. So please, grant me the worst possible ending. Shion begged me desperately to let Keiichi go. I simply abused her, slandered her, and disgraced her. The more Shion suffered, the deeper I'd fallen into hell. It wasn't enough. It wasn't even close to deep enough. It wasn't deep enough to compensate for my sins. I dragged Keiichi to the table that I tried to put Satoko on and restrained him there. Keiichi began to move sluggishly. The stun gun must have not worked too well on him.
聞こえるかいシオン。これから始めるよ。ケイちゃんの若い悲鳴をたっぷりと楽しみな。
いい加減にしろ。
Keiichi squeezed out those words. He sounded good, like he was about to bite me.
ようやくお目覚め。私さっき嘘をついたね。シオンを一番むごたらしく殺してやろうと思って閉じ込めておいたけど、まだ思いつかないって言ったやつ。あれが嘘。
I smiled as I laid out the huge nails and hammers specially made for the nail table.
あの子に自分のせいで死ぬ大勢の人の悲鳴をたっぷりと聞かせて、体の芯まで染み通らせてから殺すの。なかなかセンスいいでしょ。
お前は誰だ。
は？ミオンでしょ。園崎ミオン。恐怖で頭が変になっちゃった。
違うな。お前が園崎ミオンであるはずがない。
I stopped moving. Keiichi? Shit. I decided the naming game would be over once we reached Shion's cell. Therefore, even if he guessed this time, it would be too late. Oh well. Sure. I'll listen to you. This is your last chance.
へえ。じゃあ、私がミオンじゃなかったら、私は誰なわけ？
Come on, Keiichi. Guess who I am. Why don't you try to save Mion, the girl who fell in love with you?
鬼だ。
え？
お前はミオンじゃない。さっきまで一緒だったミオンを返せ。
ケイちゃん、本当に頭は大丈夫？恐怖で頭がどうかなっちゃった？
触るな！この鬼め！返せ！ミオンを返せよ！俺の最高の友人だったミオンを返せ！
I listened to him with a blank expression.
ミオンを目の前にしてミオンを返せなどとお前事であることは分かってる。でも目の前の今のこいつは 断じてミオンではありえない。認めるわけにはいかないんだ。
That's great. So I'm not Mion or Shion. He doesn't even see me as my sister. No, wait, that's not it. Keiichi protected the Mion in his heart until the end. He didn't accept the fact that Mion was a murderer. And not just that either. He protected the Shion in his heart as well. He didn't conclude that if Mion wasn't a murderer, then it must have been Shion. To Keiichi, Shion was someone who always made fun of Mion. But that was it. It wasn't like they'd known each other for a long time, but Keiichi protected her. He protected Shion from being a murderer. That's why I'm an ogre and not Mion or Shion, huh? An ogre, huh? An ogre. That's stupid. But isn't that just right on the money? However, Keiichi didn't back off. He kept screaming. He screamed loudly so that I could hear his voice even when I was stuck inside of an ogre.
頑張れミオン。こんな鬼畜生に負けるな。本当に強いお前の力を見せてくれ。
There he said something like, "Show me your power," or "Let me see your power." Or I guess strength, like "Show me your strength" is what he meant, right? Surely he wasn't talking to me knowing that I'm the real Mion, right? He's just confusing us again. So there's no reason to let my heart be disturbed by Keiichi's screams towards Mion.
頼むよミオン。ミオン。どこでお前はこんな鬼に負けちまったんだ。お前はこんな弱いやつじゃないだろう。負けるな。戦え。戦え。
He's right. I didn't fight back. How did he know? How did he know I didn't fight back? I lost to the ogre. After all, I'm weak. I'm not strong enough to defeat the ogre. Even so, Keiichi continued to talk to Mion. His voice had become hoarse, and he began sobbing. He kept mumbling, "Mion, Mion."
ケイちゃん、メイドの土産なんて気の利いたものじゃないけれど、どうしても知りたがっているようだから一つだけ教えてあげるよ。私の中に鬼が宿ったのはずいぶん前。その鬼は私を蝕み強行に駆り立てようとした。だけれど私はそれを理性で押さえつけた。鬼はそれで収まり、私はその鬼はどこかへ行ってしまったんだと思い込んでいた。でも本当は違った。私の中から出て行ったんじゃなく、私の中で眠っていただけだったの。
That was the truth. When I learned about Satoshi's disappearance, my weak soul couldn't take the sadness, and anger filled me to the brim. But the insanity had stopped me there. Time had healed me, and embraced me with memories of
そ
Satoshi.
の鬼は、ある小さなことをきっかけに、また目覚めてしまった。それは、何に原因があったと思う？
It was such a little thing.
鬼の私が教えるのも変だけれど、あんたが全てを狂わせてしまった元凶。
A tear rolled down my cheek.
あの時、あんたがもらった人形を躊躇なく私に渡していたなら、全ては狂い出さなかったかもしれない。ケイちゃんには理解できないだろうね。
理解できなくて当然。だけどね、そこからドミノ倒しみたいにパタパタパタといろんな初めの小さな一つを倒したあなたに自覚がないのは当然だろうけど、あなたが元凶だ。
Huh? But the Mion in the cell is the Mion that was at that event. The first Sunday of Watanagashi of chapter 2, or the first subchapter of chapter 2, took place on a Sunday at a store where they had a club activity. As far as we know, that event happened in this chapter, and the Mion in that cell told the Shion that's talking to us right now that she didn't get the doll that she wanted. Unless I'm misremembering. So, was that... It gets so confusing, right? Like, thinking about this. But, like, was it really Mion the whole time that was actually there? And by Mion, I mean the Mion that's talking to us right now, who's actually Mion, and not the Shion that's in the cell that was pretending to be Mion? Like, wording this shit, it can be so confusing. But anyway. If Keiichi hadn't done something so insensitive, Shion wouldn't have cried. Shion cried and talked to me about it. Okay. That had reminded me of Satoshi. I became jealous of her for having someone she loved so close to her. It was a very small jealousy. But that little feeling woke up the ogre who was sleeping deep inside of me. After that, I just let the ogre take over. The ogre ate up all the sadness from my loss of Satoshi, and filled my heart with the notion of revenge, even though I knew that wouldn't make Satoshi happy. Then, the scary incidents that followed dragged me to hell, from whence there was no escape.
そんな嘘だろ。
自覚がないのは当然。でも、紛れもなく元凶なのはケイちゃん。あの時。あんたがさりげなく人形を私にあげていたら、多分こんなことにはならなかったと。
Was I simply transferring the blame to Keiji? I think so, yeah. Because she just mentioned that she felt jealousy, or that she felt jealous because Mion, or I'm gonna refer to them by their real names now. So Mion was feeling jealous because Shion didn't get a doll from Keiji. And because she didn't get a doll from Keiji, that resulted in her remembering Satoshi ignoring her for Satoko. But even if Keiichi would have given Shion the doll that day, I'm pretty sure these events would still transpire, where Mion would have felt jealous of Shion, because it would have been like Satoshi caring for his little sister, you know. Anyway. Such a tiny thing woke up the ogre inside of me. The ogre would have woken up eventually. I was at fault. I didn't fight back. I let the ogre live in my soul. And I let the ogre possess me. Keiichi didn't hide his tears. They were pouring down his cheeks. Maybe he was crying in my place since I'd become an ogre and couldn't cry of my own will.
じゃあそろそろいい？この拷問はね、とってもシンプル。左手の小指の先端の節に釘を打つ。順に親指まで打ったらまた小指に戻って、今度は真ん中の節に釘を打つ。この調子で15本の釘で左手を打ちつける。
Oh, that's fucking mortifying. I could have sworn it was backwards. I thought you would nail each finger in completely But no, she's gonna start with like the tip of the pinky into the first like joint of the ring finger, then the first of the middle, then pointer finger, and then your thumb. And then she's gonna go back to the pinky and go to the knuckle, and so on and so forth. Or not the knuckle, sorry, the other joint. All the way until the knuckle.
それが終わったら次は右手。それが終わったら次は指先ってたくさんの神経が集まってるから、ケイちゃんが想像するよりもはるかに痛いよ。両手30本を打ち終える前に失神しちゃう人もいるそうだから。
I put a nail to Keiichi's left pinky. Once I hit it with the huge hammer, it would start and it would be over.
他の人を拷問するときには何のためらいもなかったけど、なぜかあんたにはためらいがある。
それでミオンの鬼が収まるなら、気の済むようにやってくれ。
I didn't understand what he just said, so I tried to repeat his words in my head.
あんた本気で言ってるの？
俺が傷つけたミオンの痛みに比べれば、こんなの大したことないんだろ。気の済むようにするといい。その代わり、2つ約束しろ。俺を気が済むまで痛めつけたら、シオンは許してやれ。細工殿に忍び込んだ罪には、それで十分見合う仕打ちをしたはずだ。
あんたこの後に及んで自分よりシオンの心配ができるわけ？
I am Mion. Mion Sonozuki. So why are my eyes growing so damp when hearing Keiichi show concern for Shion?
もう一つは、気が済んだら、もうお前は消えろ。その体を、ミオンに返してやってくれ。それだけだ。
あんたって人には命乞いをするとかそういう考えは思い浮かばないの？
約束、2つじゃなくて3つにしていいか？ 3つ目は、俺を殺すなにしてくれ。
最初に2つって言ったでしょ？だからもうダメ。
そいつは残念。
Even in this situation, Keiichi and I joked around and laughed. Then I knew. I knew why Shion fell in love with him. He's different from Satoshi, but he's a good guy.
多分私は約束を守らないよ。鬼だから。
その時は仕方がないさ。
Keiichi smiled and closed his
ケイ
eyes.
ちゃん、今の3つ目の願いだけは聞いてもいいよ。1つ目の願い、シオンを救うこと。これはもう無理。シオンは鬼が殺してしまう。それはもう決められたことだから止められない。だから諦めて。
I stroked Keiichi's chin.
そして2つ目の願い、この体をミオンに返すこと。これももう無理。今日を境にミオンが戻ってくることはもうない。今日以降、もし私の姿があったとしても、私の姿をした鬼だから。
そんなことはない。ミオンはミオンだ。もう戻ってこないなんて悲しいことを言うな。
聞こえる？あの音。
I'd been hearing a noise. I knew what it had to be. A dull sound was repeating in a regular rhythm. It was accompanied by a light tremor. People were trying to force open the iron door to the underground storehouse.
帰りが遅いからレナが大石を呼んだんでしょ。あのぼやっとした感じの子がこんなに頭が回るのだけは計算外だったな。
それについては同感だよ。
Really? I wonder how much Keiichi really knows about Rena. Rena Ryugu. I won this time. Rena couldn't figure out who I was until the end. Or maybe she did. Rena didn't seem confused about whether I was Mion or Shion. Perhaps Rena could tell Mion and Shion apart through her sense of smell. She was good at that kind of thing. No way. I'm overestimating her. I brought out my stun gun so Keiichi could see sparks.
見たことないでしょ。本物のスタンガンだよ。かなり出力が上げられるようになってるけどね。
さっき俺に食らわせたのはそれか。子供のおもちゃには向かねえぞ。
そうだね。
They must have broken the first door. The path was complicated, but there was no other door except for the one to this torture room.
殺さないけど、しばらくケイちゃんにはお休みしててもらうね。すぐに大石が来てくれるから。ちょっとの我慢。
Keiichi bit down and smiled bitterly. I paused, hesitating a little. Keiichi opened his eyes to see what was
ご
wrong.
めんね。ミオンを怪我して。
ここに入る前に約束した。何があっても俺の中のミオンは変わらない。
でも忘れて。今日以降、もしも私を見かけても近寄らないでね。それは私の屍に取り付いた鬼なんだから。
Keiichi fell unconscious. I locked the door to the torture room. I locked the door to the huge cave too. That should give me some
シオ
time.
ン、さあ出ておいで。
I opened the cell and told Shion to leave it. She was
あん
crying.
たがケイちゃんを見逃してほしいと祈ったから。ケイちゃんはスタンガンで伸びてるだけ。もうすぐ警官隊が来るから解放されるよ。
ありがとう。
でもシオンにはまだ用がある。ここから脱出するの。
I took Shion to the cell with I took Shion to the cell with the hidden passage.
その前にシオン、あんたにミオンを返すわ。脱げ、その服。交換だよ、また。ほら、紙のゴムバンド。
Oh my fucking god. Oh my fucking god, she's gonna frame her at the end of all this? Despite everything? Shion had no idea what was going on, but she changed her clothes as I ordered her to. I gave her the flashlight and she hung it around her neck.
あんたから先にどうぞ。井戸の底にあるとかいう隠し通路を探すの。
The light from the flashlight wasn't enough to entirely illuminate the way down. Nobody in their right mind would want to descend that well. But Shion obeyed and timidly climbed down the ladder. When she had passed entirely below the rim of the well, I brought out my stun gun and put it to Shion's head. Shion understood the meaning of that.
おねえ。あんたの望み通り、ケイちゃんは救った。代わりにあんたを殺してもいいってことだったもんね。お姉はちゃんと約束は守るよ。
Shion's hands and feet were clinging to a very unstable ladder, so there was no way she could protect herself. She was in a critical situation.
ミオンの格好をしたあんたは、ここから落ちておだぶつ。私はシオンの格好だからね。ケイちゃんが被害者だと立証してくれるよ。私は岩牢の中で警官隊の助けを待つ。まあ、指紋なんかでバレるだろうけどさ。その頃にはどこかへ身を隠してるってわけ。お姉もなかなかやるでしょ。
She's such a fucking genius, holy shit.
私を殺すとサトシの復讐になる。
そこまで分かってるなら覚悟はいいよね。そこまで落ちてサトシ君に謝っといで。
おねえ、この底にはね、サトシはいないよ。
は？あんたら言わなかったっけ？ここに捨てられてるって。
園崎家で殺されてればここに捨てられてると思う。そうは言った。
この後に及んでややこしいことを言うね。もうちょっと分かりやすくお姉に言ってごらん。
私もね、サトシのこと好きだったんだよ。
そりゃそうだろうね。私が好きになるくらいだもん。
だからサトシが消えた時、私も悲しくて悔しくて、いろいろとね、調べたんだよ。
それで
バッチャにね、詰め寄ったんだよ。絞め殺してやろうってくらいに。そしたらバッチャが、次期当主にしか話さないよ、絶対に内緒だよって。
What she said was something hard to believe. The hag said to Shion, the Sonozuki family had nothing to do with the disappearance of Satoshi. Shion couldn't understand, so she asked again. The Sonozuki family held a lot of influence in the underworld because of our dad's connections. In fact, they used such illegal measures during the dam conflict. Therefore, people just assumed the Sonozuki family had pulled the strings when the dam construction incident took place. Even the hag laughed meaningfully and said suspicious things, so everyone believed she was the mastermind. But it was all a performance. It was a hoax by the Sonozuki family head. It was just a bluff. The family took credit for the incidents to make it look like they were pulling the strings. With the influence they already had, this bluff was very believable. I fucking knew it. Therefore, people thought of the Sonozuki family as the one that had deep connections in the underworld, that they were capable of producing any sort of conspiracy. People had believed that since the dam conflict. Oryo just smiled at things she had nothing to do with, as if she was pulling the strings. When the relatives saw that, they became fearful of Oryo's power. When the dam construction site manager was killed, Oryo smiled meaningfully. When the relatives saw that, they assumed Oryo was behind it. When the Hojo couple fell off the cliff, when the Furude couple died violently, when Satoshi's aunt died and Satoshi disappeared, the hag just smiled meaningfully. Everyone believed the Sonozuki family was behind all those incidents.
嘘だ！あの事件が園崎家が関わってないってわけ？そんなの信じると思う？
私はバッチャがね、嘘を言うとは思わないの。特にサトシの失踪については本当に知らないって言ったの。だってサトシとお姉の交際、バッチャは許したんだよ。爪を見事剥いで見せたから全部忘れるって言って。
嘘だ嘘だ！出任せを言うな！じゃあ誰がサトシ君を消したの？誰が？
それだけはわからない。でもね、園崎家じゃない、バッチャじゃない。
あんただってタタリのシステムは知ってるでしょ？別にサトシ君を襲えとわざわざばあさんが指示しなくても気を利かす誰かが襲う、そういう仕掛けでしょうが。
Shion couldn't say anything in response. Even if the hag had forgiven him personally, as long as he was the object of the curse, the executioner would follow him forever.
バッチャはね、お社様のたたり誰が起こしてるのかなって長いことだけど見つけられなかった。誰もが村の中の誰かって信じてるのに、村の中にそんな人は存在しないの。
存在しない？しないならなんで毎年たたりが起きるわけ？
おかしいよね。でもいないの、いないんだって。
フルでリカが私に首をかきむしる注射で襲いかかってきたってのは話したよ。それはどう説明するの？急須猫を噛むって状況じゃない。向こうから訪ねてきて催涙スプレーと注射器で襲いかかってきた。おそらく同じ注射で富武さんが殺されてるんだと思う。
それはわからない。リカちゃんがそんなことするなんて信じられないよ。
実際に見た私でも信じられないよ。
I saw it and I couldn't fucking believe it.
あの死に方を見りゃね。
I don't think Shion and the hag were lying. That would mean the hag wasn't in that would mean the hag wasn't in as much control as we thought she was, though. She didn't know anything about that scary drug, or if the food of the family was the one executing the curse. If the Sonosuke family had nothing to do with it, then who made the series of mysterious deaths possible? Was it just a coincidence that something happened 5 years in a row on the night of the Watanagashi? It's impossible. A human must have made it happen. And it was all decided somewhere in the Sonosuke family wasn't aware of. The Kimiyoshi family didn't know anything. Kimiyoshi believed the Sonosuke family was behind it. Was it the Furuta family? With Rika's behavior and the elderly people who believed in her so blindly, did some kind of power exist around the Furuta family that created the curse? No way. The Furuta couple themselves were victims of it. How could a little girl like Rika possess a power stronger than that of the Sonosuke family? No way, it's just impossible. In other words, I had killed all the heads of all 3 families and was trying to bring an end to the whole thing, all as a result of a misunderstanding about the dark secret of Hinamizawa. Then what about my revenge? Did I kill all the wrong people? People who had nothing to do with Satoshi's disappearance at all?
やるねシオン。最後の最後で私の復讐劇をひっくり返そうってわけ。
お姉ちゃん、信じて。私は仇なんかじゃない。信じてよ、お姉ちゃん。
Shion begged with tears in her eyes. That would have affected me if I was still Shion's sister. But I don't feel anything anymore. Because I'm an ogre. I'll be done once I kill Shion. I've already decided that. If I don't finish it up, what would my excuse be for? What about the life I devoted to revenge for Satoshi? How dare she tell me all this nonsense to confuse me at the very end? If what she said was the truth, then what I'd done wasn't revenge. It was just the curse of the 5th year.
シオン、あんたが本当に無実なら、あんたは天国へ行けるね。サトシ君に謝っておいて。
お姉。
A bluish white spark lit up the darkness, and Shion disappeared into the well.
天国でサトシ君に謝って。私は天国には行けないから謝れない。
Instead, I'm going deep into hell. Jumping into this well would be too simple an atonement for what I've done. Until I find a perfect way to end my life, I'm going to live as best as I can. My god. Holy shit, what a chapter. I'm trying to remember what the fuck happened specifically during the police break-in. I don't remember. I think Keiichi just gets rushed to the hospital or something. And then, you know, we have the scene where he's home. Some days pass. And he went and, like, bought a doll. The doll he wanted to give to Mion the whole time. And then that's when, you know, one night he hears, like, pebbles at his window. And, you know, he looks outside and he sees Mion standing there. So he rushes to give her the doll and he gets stabbed. Right? Anyway. Notebook page 199. Shion Sonosuke's last confession is dubious. Did the hack convince her that the Sonosuke family had nothing to do with it? Or is that the truth? In my own investigation so far, I've proven there are aspects of the curse which can't be explained by the Sonosuke family alone. So my notes were all bogus from the beginning. These 200 pages are full of bullshit. I thought of burning this notebook, but I won't do it. This notebook proves my guilt. I won't distort the facts. I won't burn it. After all, my life was only a notebook long. I wonder if anybody will read this. If somebody does, please let them learn something from my stupidity. The series of mysterious deaths in Hinamizawa, dubbed Oyashiro-sama's curse. If you're reading this, please find the truth. That's my only wish. June 1983, Mion Sonosuke. So we still don't know. We still don't know what the deaths are. Or who did them. It's insane. I want to double check. This is the last one, right? Yeah, it's got like a bluish background. Compared to like this one. So the beginning of the notebook and the ending have a same color. Or the same color. These two have the same color. This one is kind of more yellowish, like this one. Yeah, and then this is like a lime green, and then this is like a dark green, kind of like this one, or like a teal, like that one, sort of. Anyway, I thought for sure maybe the notebooks had a correlation to them due to, you know, the color, but I guess not. Either way, I think we'll go ahead and call it here for tonight. So let's go ahead and swap on over to the ending screen.